What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, afternoon, pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HASAN broadcast coming to you live from sunny California, Los Angeles, folks. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is Monday, 5 days out from my 35th birthday. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, News Day, and you already know what's up. Someone said the Odyssey was incredible. Okay, well, keep that shit to yourself, friendo, buddy boy. Let me tell you something, okay? I want to go see the fucking Odyssey in 70mm IMAX. But unfortunately, the criminal, disgusting, monstrous piece of shit, Nolan, has made it so that he filmed it and released it on cameras that are too costly. That is where there's like 8 fucking theaters in the country where you could actually watch it in the way that the auteur wanted us to consume it. It's actually insane to do that. He is such a piece of shit, and I hope nobody forgives him for that. Dog, there are literally like 70 total movie theaters capable of showing it. Every time I see the 2 different like side-by-side shots of the giant men, and you can't see their fucking heads. You can only see their heads in the IMAX movie theater. You can't see their heads. It's cut off. That unironically soured me on the entire process. Is this how it feels watching the Odyssey in a regular theater? Yes, bro. Yes, this is what it looks like. Maybe because we're not British, Christopher Nolan doesn't understand how things work in this country. There are entire neighborhoods, states, where there are very few hospitals, let alone a 70mm IMAX theater. For regular folk living in the countryside, for the country bumpkins, they are not going to be able to experience this. And even in the fucking cities, there aren't that many IMAX movie theaters anyway that can show it. Y'all don't deserve a movie. You're going to complain about this. Nolan has saved the film industry. We're lucky to have him. I mean, I won't lie to you. This shit looks a bomb. It looks so fucking sick. It's kind of annoying how sick it looks. It's also doubly awesome because the Republicans were like chirping. All the right-wing sloppulists were like, this sucks. There are black people in the movie. Blah, blah. Like, there's a transgender man in the movie. Why? And it's like, dude, first of all, is fake. Newsflash. It's made up, okay? So I just need you to understand something. Cyclops don't exist in the real world. I don't want you to freak out, but Cyclops don't fucking exist in the real world. It's fake, okay? It's a fictional story. You're a fucking idiot. And there are certain elements in Nolan's Nolan mindset that I obviously agree with. His no CGI mentality. No CGI unless it's like absolutely necessary. That I support 100%. What I don't support is the fact that he's deaf and also seemingly is on a mission to make everybody else deaf. Though that's something that I don't support. I love practical effects. I hate the fact that he is absolutely hell-bent on making sure that anyone who fucking watches his movies in a movie theater is going to go deaf and have the exact same type of deafness that he has. I also don't like how convoluted some of his scripting is, okay? There are instances where he just goes all over the place. How do you feel about what Odysseus, Greek, did to Troy, modern-day Turkey? I don't want to talk about that. Those wounds will never heal. Everybody knows Troy is in Turkey. Actually, I don't know if people know that. It's in modern day Turkey. So we own that shit. Okay. A lot of people will say, oh, how dare you? Those are, original ancient Greek people. It's like, no, that's us. We own that. That was way before the Turks. It doesn't matter. If it's on modern Turkish land, it's Turkish. Okay. That's it. Those are the rules. Sorry. My mom came in and said, Homer, Ömer, born outside of Izmir, also Turkish. Just some facts, okay? Just some facts for you guys to comprehend, to understand that a lot of this stuff that people say is Greek technically may or may not be considered Turkish as well. Ömer, you can take the Turk out of the nation, but you can't take the nation out of the Turk. No, my ancient Greek relatives are rolling in their graves for me just hearing this. All I'm saying is Ömer, which is a Turkish name as well. His name was Omeros Lemefea. I'm sorry. You're saying his name is Ömer, right? That's what you're saying. Ömer, Homeros, Turkish name, Arabic name. Just saying, where was Homeros born? Oh, that's right. On Turkish soil, outside of Izmir. Another point for Turkish, as someone also pointed out in the chat, Homer, very critical of the Greeks. Who else is very critical of the Greeks? The Turks. That's right. Think about that. No, make this argument about Israel. I will not be doing that. Okay. Also, I'm mostly joking because I know all the Greeks are going to get fucking pissed off for me saying that. You will never be the table. Keep coping. We will be the table once again. We will be the table once again.
It was an epic box office weekend for the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan's take on Homer's ancient Greek poem brought in, listen to this figure, $260 million worldwide. That's huge, easily surpassing other movies on the planet.
Have the hogs missed their mark this hard before? I think it was like, at least with Baldur's Gate, they weren't like as chirpy about the gay stuff in it. So they knew better. They shut the fuck up. But this one, they positioned this as like a major flop. Elon Musk was actively utilizing Twitter and the Twitter algo to aggressively go after the Odyssey and how bad it was going to be, how the Odyssey was going to suck. People were going to hate it. They were going to oppose it because it's woke. Christopher Nolan is being woke. He made Helena Troy black. He put Elliot Page in the movie. These are unacceptable things. You can't do that. All this stuff. And now, of course, I have many different opinions on this. Number one, this is a fake story, and this is obviously Christopher Nolan's own interpretation of an already fictional story. So what's it to you, dumbass? That's number one. Number two, these people were not even they weren't even prominent fixtures of the movie. It wouldn't even be a problem if they were, but who cares? Like, most people just don't care about this stuff. Most people don't care about this stuff. They're exhausted. They have outrage fatigue. The right-wing mobs have gotten to the same point that I think at the peak woke left movements had gotten to. We're past that point, actually, where people are just like, enough, dude, let me fucking enjoy something. You're constantly up my asshole. Enough is enough. I think the real problem they should have had is not even the Western Sahara occupied territory and the demands for boycott, but the fact that they did not acknowledge that Omer is Turkish, born in Izmir, and also Troy is Turkish as well. And this is like, you know, seen as this great Greek play when it's like, clearly it's actually a great Turkish masterpiece. And I think it's really fucked up. So a lot of people are not talking about that, but that's my own personal thing. You know, this is Anatolia, right? This is Anatolia, where Turkey is. And important to recognize that, obviously, but it's fine. That's just a me thing, I guess.
The film, the first commercial feature shot entirely in IMAX, raked in more than $264 million worldwide.
Battle and glory!
Strength and honor! Action!
A majority of ticket buyers cited director Christopher Nolan as their primary reason to see the movie.
I will say this, also, Christopher Nolan, objectively more right-wing than most other major directors. Perhaps one of the more right-wing major directors, which is really funny. Because, like, the right are so repulsive and so racist that they are kind of pushing him to come across as a liberal. He's not a liberal. Like, he is a very conservative director. Right? As far as fucking directors goes, he might be, out of the major directors, he might literally be the most conservative. How? I don't know. Have you seen Dark Knight? Please rewatch Batman and tell me how that is not objectively a right-wing movie. The enemies are literally like socialist, communist terrorists. What are you talking about? The enemies are objectively tailored as like anarchists. Oppenheimer made me reconsider that stance a little bit, even though there's obviously a decent amount of conservatism that he has, but it's clear that he's just like, he let the real world incidents speak for themselves. But, you know, I think if you look at some of his other work, like it's clear that he definitely has some right-wing takes.
It's Christopher Nolan. How can you not be excited for a Christopher Nolan film?
The second reason, the film's all-star cast, which includes Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Matt Damon as Odysseus. Damon spoke to us about the exhilarating but demanding shoot, which stretched across 6 different countries.
One of the funniest parts about this, if you guys remember, I guess if you're old enough, in like the early 2016 era when like Gamergate was popping off, but like woke was starting to develop a foothold in American culture. One of the arguments that right-wingers constantly presented was that woke lefties don't have respect for the classics. Woke lefties don't want to teach people about the classics. They don't want people to learn about the classics. Oh, the ancient Greek, they were white, and therefore this is Shakespeare. You don't want to learn about that. You shouldn't learn about Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a colonizer. No one should learn about the Odyssey. No one should learn about Homer. That was the idea that right-wingers were trying to incept. The right-wingers were trying to invoke this claim that leftists were very much against. Woke SJWs were very much against the learning about the Odyssey. Now, of course, this was never true. This was never a real thing. However, in the last decade, the right has moved into the column of illiteracy and now see stupidity as not a vice, but a virtue, where they wear it on their sleeve, where they're like, yeah, I'm a dumb guy. That means I'm a real one. Yeah, I'm hateful. That means I'm real. You should be too. Like, we've moved so far beyond any interest on the right for literacy that they're just straight up freaking the fuck out over this. Instead of recognizing this as like, you know, educating the new generation on this epic, on this classic that like people need to learn about, instead of highlighting that. You know, what a great story about defying the gods or whatever, right? Like instead of taking that approach, they have decided that because they're illiterate racists, that this, otherwise small c conservative classic is actually bad. Why is it bad? Because there's 3 minutes and 54 seconds of a black woman in the epic, and also because there's a trans man in it too, and that's unacceptable. It's a bridge too far. I mean, Ben Shapiro is at least fucking smart enough to understand this, whereas many right-wingers have moved super, super far past that point. They don't give a shit, right? Ben Shapiro, I wanted to hold my opinion on the Odyssey until I'd seen it. I know, weird. So here it is. It's a grand spectacle with a fascinating moral core. It's extraordinary. Also, actors shouldn't have said dad. And the casting of Elliot Page is a pebble in the shoe. Irritating and bothersome and unnecessary. All my thoughts here, including Zendaya and Lupita takes. Check it out. Is this because Ben goes woke? No, it's because Ben is of a dying breed. Ben is a hate monger. Ben is a horrible ultra-Zionist, a bad guy in every way, shape, or form. However, Ben Shapiro is literate, and that is why a lot of people hate him. A lot more people hate him because of his Israel takes, certainly, but he is a theater kid through and through, and not only that, but he's also fucking literate. This is not a defense of Ben Shapiro. I despise him. I oppose him every step of the way. There is perhaps nothing that Ben Shapiro and I agree on. Having said that, however, I can still recognize that he is a literate human being, and he has like at least some level of culture, which should imply that he knows better, but he does not, seemingly. Educated people being hateful is much worse. Yes and no, because it also doesn't matter, because the right have moved beyond the need for educated hate mongers. They don't want that. They just want someone who's a mouth breather. They want an ASMONGOLD. They want someone who is a dumb guy who openly admits that he's a dumb guy. They want relatability. They don't have aspirational goals anymore. ASMONGOLD should be licking his wounds over this Odyssey take. He farmed outrage on Odyssey so goddamn hard, okay? Non-stop he did. Homer's rolling in his grave. The Odyssey is over after this. The whole internet rejected this. Hollywood is panicking. $2.5 million. And now it's a major hit. Right before it released, when critics were calling it a masterpiece, he said this: I don't think it's a great thing that critics are able to preemptively manufacture a consensus on media like this, especially when this movie has so many hot-button social issues tied into it that critics refuse to address. Critics now offer propaganda rather than insight. Bitch, you did that. You're just chirping because you couldn't succeed. They tried to Gamergate the Odyssey. They tried to Gamergate Christopher Nolan. You can't fucking Gamergate Christopher Nolan. He's obviously one of the most famous directors of our generation. Why? Like, it's so stupid. It's kind of funny that they did this. So yeah, he should worry about that stuff.
The film is also declaring victory with critics, receiving an A grade on CinemaScore exit polls and 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
The Rotten Tomatoes score is just so stupid too. Like, out of all the different rating systems that exist, I think Rotten Tomatoes is probably the worst one because it literally doesn't tell you anything. 97 on Rotten Tomatoes is not, that doesn't mean that it's like actually fucking, you know, all of the critics are giving it 100%. Hassan, the biggest hater of art? No, it's, come on, this is like the coldest of takes. I mean, seriously. You can get a 97% if you got every critic saying it's a 60. Every critic rated it like at a 6 out of 10. I don't have issues with people who critique art. Who cares? It's fine. I think it's great. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes system is interesting because it's like a thumbs up, thumbs down system, basically. And if like a lot of people are like iffy on it, but then there's enough people who just barely gave it like a passing score, then it's like then it gets a passing remark, basically. I used to really like Metacritic, especially because it would compile all of the critics and their overall score, and then it would give you a user score. But Metacritic sucks now. Metacritic is ass too because it gets fucking bombed. It gets unbelievable. It's just like the aggregate score was like a decent way to arrive at a conclusion ahead of time, but now you can't even do that. You can't even do that because everybody review bombs. So goddamn annoying. Yeah, on Metacritic is rated 5.1 on user reviews because they bombed it. Because there's like black people in it and there's a trans man in it. They fucking bombed the shit out of it. They review bombed the shit out of it. So now Metacritic is not a reliable way to figure out how people feel about it.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We'll fight for the gospel. We'll honor his name. We are Charlie Kirk. His courage on. Together unbroken. We'll make heaven known.